Welcome back to 340 Paddler, and today I'm actually redoing this video for Glasgow to Jeff City, just correcting a little bit of information, altering some information from the 2017 MR 340. Now, this run from Glasgow to Jeff City will take place somewhere between midnight on night one, and you might push off of Glasgow as late as maybe 6 o'clock on day two, although I don't recommend it. You're going to be in a rough situation there. And as you push off from Glasgow, 11 miles downstream, you're going to come across Lisbon Bottoms. And we've talked about Lisbon Bottoms, so make sure you watch that video where I go into this much more. But in Lisbon Bottoms, partway through, you're going to find Jameson Island. And Jameson Island is a brilliant place to stop. As you come through, just to give you some idea, as we come through Lisbon, this is the first place you're going to realize you're in Lisbon. This is the chute that makes a lot of noise and you want to stay away from. And then you're in a big S-curve, first one way. And by the way, there's a very nice sandbar up here as well most of the time. Then you're going to come down and around. And as you come around this second part of the S, this is Jameson Island. Now, there is no way for your ground crew to get to you at Jameson Island, but it is a massive sandbar. It is a great place to stop. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you're stopping there, watch what you do, because there are some MR340 fans that own a house on the bluff up here. They can see what you're doing down here. So be cautious of what you're doing. Keep in mind that there's someone across the river who may or may not have a pair of binoculars, may or may not be a little bit bored, and may or may not like the comedy of watching people do awkward things on Jameson Island. So keep that in mind. And if you're particularly concerned about that, there's always this sandbar about a quarter mile downriver from Jameson. But great place to stop, great place to sleep. Now, from Jameson, you're going to get down to Franklin Island. Franklin Island is difficult to find. It's immediately beyond Boonville. So you'll see the two bridges at Boonville, the railroad bridge and the highway road bridge. And then Franklin Island is a little past that, river left. It's always hard to find for some reason. But it is a supported point during the race. So there will be a safety boat there. There will be flashers or lights or something along those lines there at Franklin. There is a bathroom. During the race, there may be a concession stand and such set up there. I can't guarantee that, as those plans haven't been made concrete for 2018 yet. But last year there was, as long as you stop during the day on day two and not at, 4 in the morning. Now, Franklin Island is a great stop. It's a nice halfway point from Glasgow on your way to Jeff City. Then we have Catfish. Now, Catfish Cadiz used to be a major checkpoint for the 340. Nowadays, it is not a checkpoint. And in fact, last year it was not open and available. So if you were a paddler, you could pull up to the ramp and maybe stand up for a minute, but it's basically private property. You couldn't do anything, so I'd recommend breezing past it unless things change for 2018. Now, 10 miles from Catfish Cadiz is Cooper's Landing, and this is a great place to stop. This is a supported stop during the 340, meaning there will be safety crews and safety boats there. And while you're there, get some food. They have great Thai food in the trailer outside. They have great barbecue inside. They do breakfast. They're doing free camping. There will probably be music and a fire. You could spend hours or days here. I don't recommend it because, that whole pesky year in a race thing, but you could spend a lot of time here. It's a great place to stop. And at least a couple of years ago, the last time that I stopped there to sleep, it was a pretty good place to sleep. You'll also hit this point possibly around 40 hours into the race, so it might be a good point to kind of take that first long sleep break. Then we have Hartsburg. Now, the tricky thing is there are actually two Hartsburgs. I discovered this in 2017. Now we are at the actual Hartsburg. That's where you're looking at the river from. But there's another Hartsburg ramp up here, or what people have been told is Hartsburg, like Doug Robinette telling his wife that that's Hartsburg. And it's a rundown little ramp that you can't really get into, and it looks pretty atrocious. That's not Hartsburg. Have your ground crew go to the actual Hartsburg, which is about a mile downstream, and they're going to have a lot easier time. See, you can even park right in the river. It's amazing what they do. And this is where I'm changing things from the last video, because I actually accidentally put Hartsburg on the wrong side of the river last time. There isn't anything at Hartsburg. There really aren't, as far as I know, there aren't really bathrooms or anything else. It's just sort of a ramp and a parking lot. But it's a great place to stop if you don't intend to stop at Jeff City. There's also always the fun of seeing what cars floating by at Hartsburg. I don't know what they do in Missouri, but they seem to have this love of parking cars in the river. Then we have Marion. Marion is 1 mile down from about 2 miles down from Hartsburg. And actually, Hartsburg is right up here where we just were. So they're within sight of each other. And both of these are on the channel side. So they're both excellent stops. The only problem is Marion is on the wrong side of the river for Jeff City. So it could make it a little more difficult for your ground crew to get into Jeff City. But other than that, it's not really that much of a problem. And from here, you're about 14 miles to Jeff City. Again, I'm not aware of a bathroom or any great amenities apart from a parking lot and a boat ramp. Then you get into Jeff City. Jeff City is usually one of the most fun stops. For most people, you'll be showing up here sometime at the end of day 1 or at the end of day 2. Or during night 2, possibly getting into the morning of day 3. You will know Jeff City when you see it. Usually it's well lit. Usually there's food and chiropractors and everything. There's a bathroom there. There's lots of places to sleep. It's really, if you can get here as a sleep stop, it's a fantastic place for it. And for many of us, it's good to remember that the reason Jeff City, Norrin Access, more importantly, Wilson Serenity Point is so important to us is because of this man, Joe Wilson, who passed away at the end of 2016. And he's really the person who put this entire ramp together. He's the reason why there's always nice sand. He's the reason why there's a great bench and a big tree and a lot of the stuff there. So keep Joe in your heart when you go to Jeff City. A lot of the veterans will. Otherwise, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, quarrels, qualms, quandaries, curse words, please leave them in the comments below. This is 340 Paddler, hoping that you keep your paddle in the water.